Maple PhD, and I thought it would be fun to talk about my favorite cooperative games. I love to bring out cooperative games on game night, after we've maybe had a very contentious first game, or just when I'm in the mood to not be super competitive with other people. I really enjoy, sitting down and trying to beat the game. And so here are my top 3 cooperative games. My number 3 is Elder Sign. This is a game where players take on the role of investigators who are trying to prevent an ancient one from reawakening and devouring the world. Really, it's a dice chucking game. Players are going to be visiting locations with their characters. These locations are cards on the table that have a list of tasks that they have to complete by rolling dice, specific dice. And sometimes the tasks have to be done in order, sometimes they can be done in any order, but the card needs to be completed on a single player's turn or it resets for the next player. What I really like about this game is that you can mitigate your dice in a lot of different ways. The characters usually have some kind of special ability. They always have a special ability. Sometimes that special ability will let you, say, set a certain die to a certain face or re-roll your dice an extra time for free. Things like that, or maybe get an extra die if you're at a certain type of location. The item cards that you pick up, often as rewards for some of the tasks that you'll finish, will also allow you to mitigate those dice rolls. And then if you're at a location with another player, you can help each other out because when you're rolling dice, if you don't complete a task, you have to re-roll everything, as I recall, but you can keep one die on yourself. But if there's another player there, you can save another die on them. And so you don't have to re-roll everything, but you're guaranteed to have a couple of die faces that you know that you're going to need. Now, bad things can happen if you're not quite successful, but it is nice that you can help each other out in that way. I really like this game. It's a dice chucking game. I don't know that we super get into the story in this one, but it's just fun to throw it down, have several rounds of throwing dice, trying to save the world, and then usually we succeed, although we've gotten some of the expansions now where there's more of a story involved. There's one in ancient Egypt, there's one in Alaska, and another one in the deep sea. And I think the sea one we have never won, so we need to revisit that one a couple more times and see if we can't make it happen. But those do add a little bit more difficulty and a little more variety to what you're doing in the game. So I really, really like this one. It has a lot of replayability in the box itself, and then when you start adding in the expansions, they give you a whole nother experience, all while using the same game mechanisms. So that is my number 3, Elder Sign. My number 2 is Endangered. This is a game, it's another dice-driven game. I do like dice. But this is a game where players are trying to keep a species of animal alive long enough to get the world ambassadors behind it. You take on the different roles, things like the animal producer, someone who makes videos about animals, or you've got the philanthropist who can throw more money at the problem, or the influencer who can get attention to the problem, not necessarily money, but people will pay more attention. And they each have different abilities. And so in this game, you're going to be spending your dice to do various actions. This could be moving animals around on the board to make them a little less at risk of being taken away during the bad phase of the game. Or maybe getting them closer together so they can breed and produce more animals so that you have more to play with. You're also placing dice in order to try and get these world ambassadors to be more favorable to your animals. Some of those things can include making sure you have a certain number of animals on the board, or placing influence on them so that when you do a die roll later in the game, you have a better chance of succeeding at that die roll. Then, of course, there's the bad phase of the game, which is when you can lose some of the animals, and that is always a horrible feeling when you have to remove some of the animals from the game. But it is so satisfying when you get to the end of the game, you go through the ambassador voting, and you finally succeed and feel like you have done something. And it also feels like you've brought, at least to yourself, a little more awareness of what's going on with some of those animal populations as well. I have currently only played 2 of the different animals in the box though, and I've got, I think, 6 or 7 different scenarios and different animals, and so there is so much more for me to explore in this box, and I can hardly wait to get those to the table again. So that is my number 2, Endangered. My favorite co-op game right now is The Loop. This is a game where players take on the role of agents who are trying to take down Dr. Foe, who is running throughout all the eras of history, dropping duplicates of himself and causing mayhem. So you are trying to move his duplicates from where he's dropped them to their origin era, so they disappear, and trying to prevent him from creating these vortices, which are disruptions in the space-time continuum or something. Each game you have a set of goals that you're trying to achieve, but you only know 2 of them at a time. And so you're trying to do them as quickly as possible so you know which ones are coming up next. Every once in a while we've had a game where we get to the end and the last goal that we have in front of us is actually impossible. And so that's been a little bit frustrating, but it's rare. At least we've found it to be rare. And the fun that we have in this game largely outweighs that. In the game, you're playing these artifact cards, which have this amazing humor. They're really funny if you read what they are and then what they do. And they can help you move around the board more quickly. They can let you drop energy cubes so that you can do more actions later, or another player can do actions later. They help you clean up after Dr. Foe or move his duplicates a little bit faster. And so it's just a game that it's just been so much fun. It's silly. The theme is silly. The cards are funny, and we just sit down, do our best to win against Dr. Foe, and win or lose, we've had a great time. So that is my favorite right now, The Loop. So tell me about your favorite co-op games. I know there are a lot out there right now, and I love trying them, trying new ones. So let me know in the comments what your favorite is, and maybe I can give it a try. Otherwise, I'll be back again with a video soon. You can follow me in the meantime on Instagram and Twitter as MeeplePhD, and I have a blog at meeplephd.com.